Vale.
NICO-CANARIO. XX.
Perfecto. Pásame por aquí. Voy a mi canal. Meterme en directo. Muy bien. Directo. Perfecto. Juego. Vale. Pues bueno, chavales, estamos aquí en un nuevo directo de médico forense y vamos al lío. Como no. Ah, que la puerta se cierra sola. Fantástico. El compañero, por lo que veo, no está. Un poco raro, pero bueno.
I hope he... Oh, come on. He was too lazy to even wheel the gurney to the autopsy room. Almost there. Now for the tough part. The body needs to be moved. Where's Ridley when you need him? Alright. I just need some gloves and my apron. Then I can get to work.
Por aquí.
I'm going to need my tape recorder for this. Autopsy dated November 22nd, 1991. 7:32 p.m. Led by Dr. Jack Hanman. I begin by verifying the identity of the Jane Doe. It's most likely Harper Lloyd, age 35, found in a well-owned house by her neighbors Leonard and Dorothy Chelsea, reported missing for a week. Firefighters found the body after the Chelsea family began complaining that their tap water tasted strange, and at one point had begun to smell and turn a dark color.
Oscura. Toda la putrefacción del cuerpo.
It is also known that the deceased was diagnosed with affective bipolar disorder. Harper was placed on drug therapy, which she dropped out of fairly regularly. During her treatment, she was under the care of her common-law partner, Richard Benson, professional truck driver. The last person who had contact with the deceased was her partner. Harper's last message read as follows: "I'm gonna take a shit in their stupid well. Then we'll see who has the last laugh." Nice one. Police records also show that Mrs. Lloyd was in constant conflict with her neighbors. The constant parties and subsequent brawls made living in the area nearly impossible, especially when Lloyd's partner wasn't around. I proceed to open the bag. The most important task in forensic identification of a drowned person is to distinguish whether the death occurred before or after entering the water. Okay, that could have been worse. I carefully removed the victim's clothes so as not to damage the skin. One shoe was missing. The deceased was found fully clothed. I'm going to need the camera to document all possible suspicious marks.
Muy bien. ¿La cámara por casualidad está aquí? O tampoco está aquí. tiene que estar aquí.
Definitely the first thing that stands out is the very advanced post-mortem gigantism. The skin of the deceased appears very delicate, smooth, and relaxed from being in the water for a long time. The whole body is extremely pale.
Tiene algo aquí.
There are some obvious scratches on the skin. There are bruises and hemorrhages on the neck. These usually occur due to increased inhalation when fighting to breathe underwater. The so-called washerwoman's skin on the feet. The deceased had indeed been in the water for a long time. It's likely that the deceased was lying on her back when she was fished out. Post-mortem markings are seen on the underside of the body, that is, on the back, thighs, and calves of the deceased.
¿Dónde está la foto que falta ahora, pone?
The skin on the hands can be easily separated from the body. The separation takes the form of a glove.
Voy a colocar las fotos.
So, after the preliminary exam, it's time to take a closer look at this. Today's date. The deceased was clothed. Rigor mortis does not need to be checked. Based on the state of decay, you can be sure it has subsided.
¿Dónde coño era? Aquí.
Where to start? We see thick, white foam in the mouth of the deceased, resulting from pulmonary edema. Foam is a characteristic in deaths due to drowning.
Vale. Ahogamiento.
There are obvious scratches on the skin, especially on the back and hands. These could be defensive wounds, evidence of some sort of altercation prior to death. The spots have a purplish blue-red hue, which is a typical sign of the death of the organism. Yep, pretty typical. Liver mortis are formed as a result of putrefaction of blood in the veins. No obvious signs of struggle. The skin on the hands would have easily peeled away from the flesh. Some of the fingers have already lost their nails. Due to the fact that the deceased was wearing shoes all the time, her feet are in better condition than her hands. Nevertheless, we can still notice a clear, wavy skin and the so-called washerwoman's skin texture. Okay, that's probably enough to indicate a direction for further examination. I'd better note that down in the records. Marks found on the neck and foaming at the mouth are typical signs of drowning people. Those abrasions appear relatively fresh. No healing or scarring is visible. There doesn't seem to be anything unusual about this liver mortis. Hands heavily wrinkled from submersion in water, typical washerwoman skin. Diffuse spots are caused by blood rotting in the veins. Considering the deceased's penchant for drinking alcohol, it could have been a mere accident. In this case, the question is, was drowning an accident or of suicidal intent? Maybe it's just abrasion, or maybe the result of a fight and being pushed into a well. Their distribution suggests that the victim was probably lying on her back when fished out of the water. Fortunately, the skin on the hands didn't fall off. Otherwise, I'd have trouble identifying the deceased. Liver mortis of a different color could indicate poisoning with carbon monoxide, cyanides, or nitrates. However, this is not the case here. A simple trip, loss of balance, and as a result, you end up in a deep hole with no way out. That's all for now. Before I begin the dissection, I'll make sure the suggested identity is correct.
Vale.
The suitcase with the fingerprint equipment should be around here somewhere.
Maletín, maletín, maletín. Pero un maletín.
Oh, here it is. If the body of the deceased is well preserved, fingerprinting is similar to that of a living person. With decomposing bodies, the tissue of the pads of the fingers tends to shrink. To remove these shrinkages, a mixture of glycerin or air is used. The fingerprint sheet should always be checked. Slipping fingers, too much or too little ink, or inaccurate hand position can make fingerprints illegible.
Vale. Vamos a ver.
I'm going to conduct a dactyloscopic examination. If in fact the deceased is in the police database, I will find her. Glycerin is injected successively between the nail and the skin of each finger. The substance then enters the fingertip, removing shrinkage and wrinkles. Now I take a brush. Only when the skin is taut and elastic can you use ink. I think it's enough. I'm getting In the case of drowning victims, you have to be extremely careful. The skin may fall off the hand like a glove when you take the print. I'll use the fax machine to add the print into the system.
Ay, ¿cómo está?
Green button, and... Once the data uploads, I'll run the prints against the police database on the computer. Great. The data is there. Click Upload. Now, go through the database and find a matching print. Expect possible hours of fun.
Arrastra.
One more. Analyze button. And we have a result. Everyone has a story to tell, even if it's just a police record. So, as predicted, the deceased turned out to be Harper Lloyd. That went smoothly. I'll print this out and attach it to the medical records. Great. Now I can go back to my inspection. I'm adding the name of the deceased. I'll start the internal examination by taking fluid from the victim's brain. A needle inserted through the nose will do the trick. If the victim was alive when she fell into the well, she must have swallowed water fighting for her life. And then diatoms, characteristics of pooled water like a well, got into the body.
Herramientas. Venga, ¿cómo que nada? Cerrado.
In the meantime, I'll check the sample under the microscope. I'm sure that these algae traces will be found in the samples taken from the well where police found the body.
Copio.
Now I need to adjust the knobs properly and place the diatom in the center of the slide. Diatoms are single-celled microscopic algae. I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance. Great. The aperture. Oh, I'm finally starting to see something here. I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance. Great. I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance. It's not. And perfect. It's not a dirty lens, I'm afraid, but rather a bad focus. Nah. Oh. The aperture still needs adjustment. The image is too dark. Great. This way I'll... Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. And perfect. It's not a dirty lens, I'm afraid, but rather a bad focus. And perfect. The aperture still needs adjustment. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. I won't even notice an army of diatoms. Great. This way I'll see if I'm dealing with a large concentration of these algae. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. The aperture still needs adjustment. The image is too dim. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. It's not a dirt. And perfect. The aperture still. Oh. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. I won't even notice an army of Great. I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance. Great. This way I'll see. Oh. The aperture still needs adjustment. Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. The aperture still needs adjustment. The image is too dark. It's not a dirty lens, I'm afraid, but rather a bad focus. And perfect. It's not a dirty lens. And perfect. Oh. I'm finally... The aperture still needs adjustment. The image is... Oh. I'm finally starting to see something here. As expected, we find the aforementioned algae in the solution. Their upper part, epitheca, which overlaps the lower, hypotheca, is clearly visible. The presence of diatoms in the brain samples taken indicate that the deceased was certainly alive when she fell into the water and was possibly conscious.
Vale, vale, vale. ¿Dónde irá? Por ahora.
Since there were diatoms in the brain, it means that many more of them must have entered the body. Studies of the rest of the organs will most likely confirm this hypothesis.
Ahogamiento. No.
I can finally get to the practical part.
Vale,
I must be extra careful because the skin of the deceased is very stretched. I wouldn't want an explosion here. You can immediately see a very large swelling of the organs. In addition, all internal organs are very congested. I proceed to remove the rib cage. It's easy to see that the ribs have been imprinted in the lungs. So, I'm going to start by drawing blood from the lungs for testing for diatoms. If diatoms were only present in the lungs, this would mean that the victim was placed in the well after death, and the perpetrator wanted to get rid of the corpse in this way. Now, I remove the lungs and proceed to their examination. Taking the lungs in my hand, I feel that the tissues have lost their elasticity, which is the result of water emphysema. In addition, there is significant swelling of the organs, and as a result, we have a nice imprint of the ribs. The emphysema itself, it's clear how far it's progressed, which is characteristic of drowning. Corpses found in water are worth examining with the tomograph. However, I can't count on such luxuries, so I must reach for a more archaic technology: a bucket and water.
Ay, a ver. Voy a poner junto. Almacén. ¿Qué botón estoy dando? Este no sirve, ¿no? Muy bien. Pues si el cubo no está aquí, ¿dónde coño que llamáis almacén entonces, cojones? Hay un cubo, pero esto no es. Que llaman por almacén estos locos. Pues no sé. Está alcantarillado. Mira, ya llegó el compañero. No podemos despertar.
Who has anyone been here?
Y está alguien dice.
I hope no one dipped a mop in it. It's best to go to the lab for this. Oh, Jesus.
Es que casi me cago encima. Nosotros que estábamos...
Poor soul. I get cases like this more than any other.
Prueba de arrojamiento.
My old but trusted centrifuge. Ideal for all the fluid tests I need to perform during an autopsy.
Hice una prueba de ahogamiento.
Historically, the lung float test is used to detect infanticide. The water should be at room temperature. That's enough. To test for this, I have to place the lungs in a container of water. This checks if there is air in the lungs. And speaking of lungs, everything is ready to bring them here. Of course, such a study isn't without flaws. Air may have entered a newborn's airways during resuscitation attempts. Gases released during decomposition could also give a false result. In this case, however, it's about something else, namely, the amount of fluid in the lungs. To test for this, I have to place the lungs in a container of water and wait to see if they fall or if they will float on the surface. Just as I assumed, the lungs collapsed easily. Fluid could have entered the lungs during panic attempts to catch breath underwater, but it could also be the result of bacterial infections or cancer, so further investigation is needed. I move on to dissecting the lungs of the deceased. You can hear the distinct, very unpleasant crackling of the tissues being cut through. The parenchyma is remarkably pale, although small hemorrhagic foci and petechia are present on the surface. All right. Now, I will check the collected fluid under a microscope. If we find 20 diatoms on the slide, it can be considered drowning, and our result is not false positive due to possible contaminations.
Muy bien.
Let's see. Although I expect we'll find them, I won't even notice an army of diatoms from this distance. Oh, I'm finally starting. The aperture still needs adjustment. Oh, I'm finally starting to see something here. And perfect. As expected. In solution, the diatoms are clearly visible. There are smaller and larger clusters of them. There will definitely be more than 20 of them. I'll make a note of all this. So far, this case looks pretty standard. It's clear from the beginning that it's drowning. Well, the procedure requires me to check everything anyway.
Reinita 104. Buenas tardes, mi Nico.
Ya estamos por aquí. Vale. A ver, examen pulmonar indica ahogamiento. Vale. Vale.
So, I move on to checking the other organs.
Vale.
I ligate the heart, and then remove it for inspection.
Corazón.
Strongly developed putrefactic hemolysis of the organ can be seen at first glance. Apart from that, no signs of a heart attack or other heart disease.
Aquí. Caída. Ahogamiento. Ay. Dice, analiza los daños del corazón. Ahora. Vale, un corazón que estaba putrefacta. A ver, putrefacta. Ya avanzado. Vale.
I move on to the next organ. This time, it's the liver. It's immediately apparent that the deceased didn't care for herself. Like most organs, her liver is enlarged and severely congested. The beginnings of cirrhosis are visible in some areas.
Agrandado, muy congestionado, comienzo visible de cirrosis.
I transfer the organ to a board and proceed to dissect. The cross-section clearly shows dilated veins and many small hemorrhagic foci. I must admit that this is quite a feat, considering the rather young age of the deceased. Harper enjoyed drinking so much that she might not have lasted a few more years.
Endurado, con venas marcadas, dilatada, cirrosis alcohólica. Vale, la mujer por lo que se ve le da al trinqui. Vale.
I move on to the stomach. I take a sample of the fluid for testing.
¿Cómo he bugueado esto, no? La herramienta. ¿Ah? Ay, ¿dónde está la jeringa? ¿Qué coño?
It looks very turbid. I'll see what happens after spinning, but that's in a moment. Now, I carefully ligate the organ, then cut it off. It's enlarged, probably full of putrid gases. I transfer it to the board and carefully open it, checking the contents. One thing you'd never get used to is how much this desk smells.
Mucho cuidado, doctor. Esto corta un dedo. Esto es como cortar jamón serrano.
Okay, the stomach is full of fluid. and unidentified organic matter, which is probably leftover food. So let's check the diatoms. Again. But in a centrifuge for a change. The problem with examining drowned people is being able to show whether the death was due to drowning or whether something else contributed to the death. Cramp, heart attack, drugs, homicide, or some accident. Such an analysis requires viewing from different angles and a careful interpretation of the collected data, including those from the field. That's why it's so important to collect as many samples as possible. Unfortunately.
En la oficina por un cuaderno con información necesaria sobre la biometría para hacer la centrifuga. Hacer funcionar la centrifugadora. ¿Qué coño es la centrifugadora?
Okay, this is one last little sample.
$25, 3. $25%. 3. 35, 3. 35, 3. 35. Tengo que meterlo bien, ¿no?
Now set.
Cinco. El cubo con la E. 10 minutos. Cargó, melodía. Notas. Alcohol. Generamos y medio carbonato de la que se mueve el pulgar y está. Que sí, que sí. Nuevamente, refrigerada, 48 operación, tasa de acelerando, 100, para la frecuente anticipación, 10 minutos, 35 minutos. No. Ay, diatomeas, diatomeas. Diatomeas. 35 diátomos. Tiempo 35. 25%, 3000. 35. No. Los valores correctos de ambos diales y empezar a mezclar. 10 minutos. Diales. 6, 10 minutos. 6, 10 minutos. 6 minutos. 6 minutos. Paranoia, ¿no? Minutos 85. Repite. 5, 6, 3. Ahora te vamos a dejar de empezar a mezclar. Minutos, 35 minutos, 35 minutos.
Done. I'll run it directly into the chromatograph and run it against the data from the police. I'm certain the analysis will show similarities between the fluid and water in Chelsea's well.
Ay, señor, señor.
think 3 milliliters should be fine.
¿Cuánto quieres? 3.
Okay, now it's the chromatograph's turn. Yes. The water sample matches the one provided by the police. Well, the results are quite clear. I was hoping it would be a more interesting case. More diatoms. Analysis indicates the same origin. Blah, blah, blah.
Vale. Esto indica ahogamiento.
There's little left to do. I'm going to check the airway patency of the deceased. Interesting. Looks like there's something stuck in the trachea. I'm moving to the board for further inspection.
Este no es. Este sí.
I dissect the trachea and open the organ. Inside, I find a wedding ring. This is interesting. Let me look at it. Based on the size, I can say that it's a woman's wedding ring, quite standard from the outside. There's an engraving inside. What the fuck? But this is my ring. Alice's ring. But how did it, but this should be at home. I have it. At home. It's, I have to check this out. Where are my meds? Where the fuck are my meds? Huh? Jesus Christ! Hope these all make it go away. I have to check the... I've already taken my pills. Not looking to overdose.
¿Sacas?
Mr. Ridley. Mr. Ridley!
What's all the ruckus?
I need to go home. Immediately.
What? Now?
I have to. Have you seen anyone here this morning? Anybody suspicious?
No, there was no one. Dorothy was, but only for a moment, then she left. What's wrong with you, Hammond?
Okay. Thanks.
What about the corpse?
I'll come back, I promise. Jesus Christ! I have to check this out.
Ya que no vean, tío.
This can't be real. Where is it? Where is it? Where? Please be there. It can't. It's not here. It's not. I need to go. This is sick! Fuck! Come on, Steven. Pick up the fucking phone!
Hey. What's up, man?
They took the ring!
What? What ring? What are you talking about?
They took the wedding ring. Alice's wedding ring!
One sec. You mean burglary? You said nothing was missing.
Yes, I know that! I don't know. I was jittering. Maybe I didn't notice. I don't know, but that's not the worst of it.
Calm down, Jack. Breathe. What happened?
I found it in the trachea of the deceased I was working on. Do you understand? I pulled it out of a dead woman's trachea!
What?
I don't know what's going on. You think Red Pete wants revenge? He's playing with me. I knew it. I knew it from the beginning this was going to happen. I didn't make it up!
Jack, listen to me. Try to calm down. Don't leave the apartment. I'll be with you right away, okay? I'm on my way.
What sane person would do something like that? How? And when? When the fuck? Fucking Ridley lets in whoever he likes as usual. What are you saying? Steven? Don't leave me, man. Come on. Fuck. Oh, God, what now? Okay, just calm down. Just calm down. I need a drink. Jesus. What's going on?
Pasa, ¿es transparente o qué?
Just one sip more. Yep. Jesus. Just one sip more. Oh, God.
Ay, pues bueno.
All right. I can't do it anymore. These reports will kill me one day. I'll have to finish it over the weekend. It's time to go to work. I should take out the trash first. Jesus. Fuck. Maybe I'll just ignore it. Yes?
Hi, this is Charlotte. I guess I interrupted you again?
Oh, hi. No, I just... I wrote reports in those last sections, and I was just about to leave for work.
I always know when to call.
Yeah, definitely. What's up? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What about you?
Okay, nothing new. I had a few days off.
Oh, that's nice. Then... Did you have a moment to look for something for me?
Something for you?
Well, the photo with, the photo I asked you for?
It hasn't come yet? Oh, sorry, but I said it a week ago.
No, not yet. Maybe I'm too impatient. I'm sorry for rushing you. You have so much on your mind, I thought maybe you forgot.
It's okay. No worries. With my pills, Pills. I almost forgot to take my pills. So you see...
Yeah.
I have to go now.
Yes, sure.
Let me know if you still haven't received the letter. Then I'll try... well, maybe I'll find something else.
Oh, really? Could you? It would be great if you could. Really?
Yes. I know it means a lot to you.
Well, I won't hold you any longer. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Damn. Did I mess up the address? How am I gonna get those pills? Maybe I should invite Charlotte to do something herself. Ugh. Why is it so wet? Ugh. I shouldn't be this tired. Oh, shit. Fucking hell!
Pilla la basura al contenedor.
I wonder if Alice's mother has a film of this photo somewhere. I actually hadn't thought about it before. I should call her on Friday. Oh, God. Why do I like sleeping so much?
¿Por qué te gusta tanto dormir? Dímelo a mí.
Huh? Good. I think I'll get straight to work on this one. Focusing on something will do me some good. Christ, this one's heavy. Hey, Mr. Ridley, I need help. I can't lift this bag myself. Ridley! Ugh, wasn't easy, but at least I can start. A new package must have arrived. I guess Dorothy ordered it. I think I'll skip recording a video for the students today. They don't need to see me and the body. Ugh. And they'll still have the accompanying photos anyway. November 27th, 1991, 5:14 p.m. Conducted by Dr. Jack Hanman. James Evans Jr., also known as Jesse. Age about 30, weight 130 kilograms, height 180 centimeters. Evans had previously been convicted of possession of stolen goods, robberies, and drug trafficking. There were also attempts to accuse him of leading a criminal group responsible for burglaries in the New Orleans area. What? Burglaries in the New Orleans area? This is... It's a rather strange coincidence. Police photos show that the body was not even particularly hidden, but only covered with a thin layer of soil, branches, and leaves. The body was found inadvertently in the woods near Peetsville. The dogs picked up the scent while searching for a missing boy. The deceased's father, James Evans Sr., is a local businessman. He was the one who reported the disappearance. At the time of the report, his son hadn't been home for 3 days. The body was found naked and mutilated. Clothes, probably belonging to the deceased, were found lying nearby. Sounds disturbing. I wonder what condition the body is in then. I'll start by opening the bag. Oh, fuck. I didn't expect this level of mutilation. This is going to be a dirty job. I'll check through the bag the police left.
Vale, esto me voy a guardar. Vale.
Maybe there will be something worth noting about the victim's clothes. Leather belt. You can see that it's been serving its owner for a long time. Plain cotton t-shirt. Classic jeans. Well, dirty and torn. Certainly not my style. Traces of blood and plasma. Is this? Interesting. Most of the blood is visible around the neckline. However, after decapitation, I would expect a larger stain, with mainly traces of soil. It's a bit like the perpetrator's pulled his shirt over his head. Something's stuck here. It looks like some kind of ecdysis? Scale? This could point to an animal being responsible. The bloodstains don't appear to be related to any injuries on the body. The deceased must have been unclothed before he was injured. A lighter, engraved with the police insignia. It looks somehow... it's probably a coincidence.
No le veo nada así. Se ha caído algo en los bolsillos. No le veo nada. No sé. ¿Qué es lo que tengo que ver en la ropa? No sé. Yeah. Venga. No veo nada. ¿Dónde? Algo hay que hacer, pero no sé. Mira determinada la ropa en busca de pistas. ¿Pistas de qué tipo? No veo nada inusual, ¿eh?
And here,
Coño.
another animal souvenir. It looks different than the previous one.
Souvenir animal.
The only thing I can tell from the clothes is that before his death, Evans had either put up quite a fight, or the attackers simply dragged him along the ground for a long distance. In turn, and this is certainly strange, the injuries themselves were inflicted only when he was naked. Okay, I'll take a look at the scales. They seem too different. Dorothy once brought an animal encyclopedia here. She performed an autopsy on an exotic animal smuggler. The guy suffered an accident while transporting illegal animals. Not only were the police needed on site, but it took nearly a day to round up his cargo. Dorothy had a hard time with that case. Did the impact kill him, or did one of the animals he was transporting do him in? They even talked about it on the news. People were terrified that some reptile would just come out of their can and grab him. Okay, the book.
No sé el libro. Libro. ¿Dónde tienes el libro, doctor? Sí. Sí. No. En el despacho igual. Yo siempre estoy durmiendo, colega. Baño. Laboratorio. Ya lo vi. Vamos a comparar las escamas. Laboratorio al otro, ¿no?
Who is this?
Tiene un colocón.
All right. Oh,
A ver.
which page was it?
Seleccionar elemento. Mirar página con la E y con la
Local wildlife. I bet I'll find something here. Not this area, but who knows? Nile crocodile. What kind is this? Oh yes. This turtle turned out to be a killer. I only need to concentrate on the crocodile chapter. Very similar, but the color is slightly different. Not a match. Nah, this one here looks more like a handbag. No, that's not it.
Javier Rodríguez. Y first time seeing this game.
Spanish.
How it
Un poco de...
doesn't seem to be fake.
Cocodrilo.
Maybe I'll look at the pictures another time. Well, this scale makes more sense than the previous one. How did it end up here? So, either someone donned in crocodile products was around the deceased, or one of them attacked him. I'll examine the body and take photos. If an animal attacked him, there'll be traces. Ugh, Christ. Why am I so tired? Some coffee would be nice. What was I supposed to... the pictures. I'll have to show them to Dorothy. Too bad that we no longer keep our ranking. With something like that, I would come out on top. There hasn't been a case like this for a long, long time.
¿Dónde era lo del café? Zona de descanso era, ¿no? Aquí hay café. Pero... documentación fotográfica... ¿A dónde el escritorio? La porada... Ah, ya sé. La de... La grande está en el laboratorio.
El Javier Rodríguez. Coffee de table.
Javier Rodríguez, ¿por qué me estás hablando en inglés? ¿Me puedes explicar por qué me hablas en inglés?
El Javier Rodríguez. Hola. Nickbot. Bienvenido al canal de tu calvo favorito, espero que estéis a gusto y el directo sea de vuestro agrado. Si os gusta el canal, darle al corazoncito y así me ayudáis a crecer, es gratis. El Javier Rodríguez. El Javier Rodríguez. No estaba seguro. El Javier Rodríguez. No te escuchaba la voz. El Javier Rodríguez. Voz.
All right, I'll begin.
¿Ya me escuchas ya mejor?
El Javier Rodríguez. El café estaba sobre la mesa en la oficina.
Sí, pero
el Javier Rodríguez.
No me daba
sí, ahora sí.
Vale. Fotografía el cadáver, vale. Vamos a ver.
The deceased skin is smooth and taut. This suggests an advanced stage of decomposition of the corpse.
Uf. Vale, tiene cortes.
El Javier Rodríguez. Primera vez viendo este juego.
Pues es un simulador de médico de autopsia. Está bastante chulo, ¿eh? A ver, marca fotografía en el cuerpo.
Oh, and as expected, there's a bite.
No hay fotos, tengo que sacarle el cuerpo.
Evans couldn't have tied himself up like that. It looks like some sort of attack or kidnapping.
Vale, tiene señales de ataduras en las muñecas. Vale. Oh, le falta medio pie aquí. Y tiene signos de atadura en los pies, ¿eh?
There are also clear traces of the deceased ankles being bound in some way.
Le falta media pierna. No sé si es que el cocodrilo se la comió o qué.
Such a wound could not have occurred during the victim's lifetime.
parece que tiene también otro desgarro y alguna mordedura, cocodrilo.
It's unlikely that a human would make such a wound.
Luego lo tiraron a un pantano.
Nasty.
Javier Rodríguez.
This wound
Los
appears to have been made
tatuajes.
by a sharp instrument.
Quedan dos.
Interesting. This needs to be investigated further.
Nos faltaría uno, que tendría que ser la falta de cabeza, pero yo que no. Vamos por aquí. Buah, me cortaron hasta el miembro. Vale. ¿Dónde está la que nos falta? Estas están. Buah, espérate, colocarme bien. Ay. No sé. Nos queda una. ¿Dónde está la que nos queda, loco? Eso no, arriba tampoco. Estos son mordeduras, tiene pinta de cocodrilo, A ver. El cuerpo. Tiene que ser algo de aquí. A ver. Me queda una foto por sacar. No está tan complicado, colega. ¿Qué nos queda? Ah, mira, si yo digo que claro que la cabeza, la parte de la cabeza no la quiero fotografiar.
No head. That's not hard to miss.
Claro. Vale.
I need to gather my thoughts together. And look at these photos. Like torn meat. But I can't tell from the photo what animal did this. The work of animals. I should inspect the... I wonder whether it seems that this case will have to be divided into several threads.
Dice... ¿Hay que vestirse o no? Sí. No, no estamos vestidos.
Anerol 77. Viciado.
Viciao, Anerol. Amplía la marca de la mordedura. Mira, Anerol, un cadáver sin cabeza. Me han traído un cadáver sin cabeza. Ay, ay, ay. Amplía para... Vamos a ver. No sé qué quiere que haga de ahí. Vale, vamos a ir al laboratorio un momento. Amplía. Fotográfica. ¿Cómo que amplía? No me dejan hacer nada, ya puta. Del tablón de fotos, la foto de la marca de la mordedura. ¿Y cómo quieres que lo amplíe? Y la marca de la mordedura. La de la mordedura. ¿Listo? Después la foto de la mordedura. Algo hay que hacer aquí, no sé qué quiero ver.
This looks very promising.
Ahora, coño.
The bite is clearly
La
visible,
mordedura claramente
and should be easy to
visible.
compare with the encyclopedia and identify the culprit. I just need to make it a
Yo
little
ahí lo que veo es
bigger.
una mordedura
It'll be
de
faster than physically measuring the bite.
cocodrilo. No sé por qué. Vale, el libro. El libro está en el laboratorio. ¿O no? ¿O sí? Vamos a ver. El laboratorio, ¿cómo que lo hacemos? Enciclopedia, ¿no? Esto, ¿no? ¿O no? Ah, coño, con el FA. Vete al carajo. El FA está en el... El FA está aquí. Si es que no leemos, no leemos.
I hope I put it in right. I can never remember whether it was image up or image down. At university, I didn't have facilities like a fax machine. Ah, fantastic. Practically a one-to-one.
Una mordedura de caimán, ¿eh? Un cocodrilo, tiburón. Yo creo que un cocodrilo.
Just some tracing paper, a pencil, and I can check these in the encyclopedia.
Enciclopedia, ahora sí.
Now, did I leave them in a drawer? Or maybe a box somewhere? Ugh. I don't remember if I left them out somewhere.
De la oficina para llevarla a cabo un examen más detallado. Papel de calco. ¿Y dónde coño está el papel de calco aquí, colega? ¿Me lo dices tú? Tiene que estar por aquí, por algún lado. Vamos a ver la oficina. A ver. Por aquí, por algún lado tiene que estar. Papel de calco. Pues no, no lo veo. Vamos a ver si el prenda lo tiene en el despacho. En cuanto aparece te lo suele marcar enseguida. Nada. Nada. Ay, ¿y ahora qué?
They definitely pay me too little for this.
Y a la caja, ¿ves? Si es que te lo digo, que te lo marca donde hay que ir.
Oh, looks like I can tidy up after myself. Sometimes.
Perfecto.
A very, nature-driven case so far.
No,
I'll have to
no,
consult the
no.
encyclopedia again. Good thing Dorothy left it here. Otherwise, I would have had to run back to my place to get some.
Muy bien. Esto tiene pinta de cocodrilo, ya te lo digo yo. Todos le dieron una paliza y lo tiraron, yo qué sé, al pantano y se lo comió a mitad un imán. Por decir algo. A ver. Vale. Vale, mordeduras. Movemos con la EQ. Ah, vale, que está aquí arriba. Vale. No, este no es. Tiene... Este podría ser.
I would be concerned if it was this crocodile that killed him. Definitely not. The tooth line forms a V letter. I would be concerned if it was this crocodile that killed him. The shape of the jaw appears correct, but not the teeth. That's not it. It makes sense. This would also explain the molt found in the clothes. It turns out that some of the wounds can be safely blamed on local alligators. However, we cannot blame them for the decapitation. It's not these animals we should be afraid of here. I should make some notes and start the autopsy. Ugh. And look for other traces using a magnifying glass. It doesn't look good. Evans wasn't decapitated with one cut. Several stab wounds of varying depth and circumference.
Le cortaron de un tajo la cabeza y le dieron no sé cuántas puñaladas.
Mississippi alligator.
Un caimán del Mississippi le dio un
It's strange that an alligator would leave such a clear and smooth mark.
Hay síntomas de que lo han atado las muñecas.
The result of an animal tearing at its body, eaten skin, soft tissues, and genitals. There are even some teeth marks, but well, it doesn't look like an alligator. The bite is firmly incorporated into the wound. A photo alone won't help me here. I need to make a cast and compare it. Looks like an uneven bite. It's worth taking a closer look at this. Maybe there will be some remaining teeth marks. Evan's right side must have been more attractive to the crocs and insects.
Está devorado por los cocodrilos, colega. A este le dieron no sé cuántas puñaladas y...
Very strong binding marks. You can see peeled epidermis and small wounds. The imprints are quite deep and even. From the looks of it, I'd say Evans was restrained with his own belt.
Un cinturón. Podría ser. Y el que falta... ¿Dónde está? Falta uno.
It looks like the killer might have missed before they finally hit the neck. There's no end to playing zoologist today.
Vale, a ver. Shift. No, Shift parece.
I need a tool with dental impression cement. Can I find it here? No. It's probably lying somewhere around in the lab. I hope the cement hasn't expired.
Cemento, cemento. 1, 2, 3. ¿Dónde está el cemento?
A month after the due date. That could be worse.
Vamos a hacer moldeduras de las moldeduras.
Now I need to cover the bite area. Wait until it hardens. I think it's ready. The cast looks quite contaminated from the other wounds in that area. Well, let's hope the imprint turns out better.
Ay, vale, no sé qué, no sé cuándo. Eso que lo hacemos aquí, sí.
Brush, ink, and paper. Similar to taking fingerprints.
Vale.
Paint over the area. And put a piece of paper on it.
Perfecto.
That's very strange. I'll run it through the fax and check it on the computer. I really don't want to believe what I'm seeing.
Yo tampoco quiero creerme. ¿Esos son muelas? ¿Me estás diciendo que le han arrancado el miembro a un hombre de un bocado? Esos son muelas, tío. Uy, la virgen. El fax. Vamos a mandar el fax. Es una dentadura.
Loading. What? Wow. This is, well, this is quite unexpected. Human teeth. Oh, fuck. I need to tell this to Stephen.
Podría ser.
not everything is cataloged correctly. Maybe not everything is cataloged correctly. Maybe not everything is cataloged correctly. Maybe not everything is cataloged correctly. Loading. It'll probably take a while.
En la dentadura.
Maybe not everything is cataloged correctly. Loading. It'll probably take a while. Loading. It'll probably take a while.
A ver quién es. ¿Quién es? ¿Quién es?
Finally. What? The partial impression I have may match several people. Okay, this one is in prison, so he's out. Another in prison. Oh, here's someone with quite interesting tendencies. Oh, he's dead. It doesn't fit. This one doesn't either. I'm afraid this will remain a mystery. The killer's profile is getting more and more interesting.
¿No? Hemos descubierto quién es el asesino. Muy bien. Muchacho se tiene que dopar para mantenerse el efecto.
I'm going back to the body. I need to make a note before I start the dissection.
A ver, portapapeles.
You can see that the tool used was sharp and smooth. So, what if it was in the hands of an unskilled person?
Ah. Ya estamos por aquí, señores. Vale.
They look quite shallow. Someone must have inflicted these with some sort of primitive tool. Maybe something chased that alligator away before it bit down properly? This wound turned out to be more troublesome than I thought it would be. Torn tissue, lacerations, bite wounds.
Trozos de tejidos desgarrados que dejan el hueso al descubierto.
For obvious reasons, I record decapitation as the cause of death. I need to verify how deep these wounds go. If they punctured the organs, hemorrhaging could have occurred. Alligators rarely kill humans. The abdominal and genital area are supplied with plenty of blood. If the penis was bitten off while he was alive, Evans could have bled to death. The perfect breeding ground for larvae. Fortunately, the deceased doesn't care about it, just like we do now. Due to the body fat of the deceased, I'm adding a heart attack to the list. Maybe Evans didn't live long enough to experience what happened to him. Man. I was hoping for an easier case. Time for internal analysis. Finally. First of all, I'll try to determine whether death occurred before the decapitation, or if it ended Evan's suffering.
Bisturí. Vamos a abrir el cuerpo.
With the scalpel, I'll open the deceased's chest. I cut deep, in a straight line, avoiding the navel. We see a lot of fat tissue under the skin.
Wow.
When I remove the ribs, I expect to see even more fat on the organs. Correct. High levels of internal fat, organ size above average due to obesity. I move on to the lung analysis. The deceased smoked cigarettes, but more importantly, you can see that the lungs have clearly suffered. And this is the culprit. Well, it didn't look like the holes were that deep. Such hemorrhage could have been caused by hitting the chest with a blunt object. Open pneumothorax should be added to this. The deceased could have experienced extreme hypoxia, and, as a result, obstructive shock. I wonder what the heart looks like then. The organ is enlarged with very clear, light yellow traces of steatosis on the surface. But similarly to the lungs, there is a trace of puncture with a sharp object. In pneumothorax, the heart rate increases. In the event of such a wound, this would mean bleeding out faster and more. In turn, a sudden increase in the amount of fluid in the pericardial cavity could lead to cardiac tamponade, which is also a life-threatening condition. Evans, however, is remarkably clean, considering this turn of events. This all looks quite disturbing. I wonder if I'll find anything on the liver. The organ is fatty and enlarged. The beginnings of cirrhosis are obvious. Well, that's it. This time, nothing to write home about.
Brazo con signos precoces de cirrosis.
So, I proceed to carefully remove the stomach. Like most other organs, it is fatty and clearly enlarged, not to mention swollen, partially due to gases, but mainly due to the deceased's lifestyle. I take the organ to the cutting board. The outside is intact. I'm going to check the contents. It sounds like there's an unusually large amount of undigested and now rotten stomach contents inside.
Vamos a ver despacito el estómago. Vamos a hacerle la autopsia al estómago. Abajo. Ahí está. Ahí está.
Blood. Evans had to swallow it due to his injuries, which means he was still alive when he was brutally wounded in the chest.
Pobre hombre. Estómago agarrado, sin signos externos de daño. Paredes estomacales intactas, sin signos de hemorragia en el interior del órgano.
Only the trachea left to be examined. Surprisingly, it's not damaged by the decapitation. I move on to cutting it open.
Pues en sí lo que es el cuerpo humano.
Okay, I carefully cut, and... blood, just as I expected. Evans not only swallowed it, but also choked on it.
Vale, pues sería muerte por ahogamiento con sangre.
Looks like I can wrap this up. Let me tie this together.
La tráquea no presenta ni daño.
After he was abducted, stripped, and tied up, he was dealt several penetrating blows to the chest. Then his head was cut off. Evans was deprived of his genitals, and the body served as an easy meal for the animals. Even though there are a lot of injuries on the body that could cause death, it was the decapitation that ended Evans' life. The animal bites in the limbs occurred after death, so there's no reason to treat these as the cause of death. The damage to the lungs and heart must have led to severe hemorrhaging, so there's no doubt that Evans was choking in bloody convulsions. But it didn't last too long, which I conclude from the small amount of blood in the stomach and trachea. I never thought I'd ever wish someone to have a heart attack. But in this case, it would have been better for him. In some way, it can be said with certainty that James Evans was murdered.
Vale. Homicidio. Firmar. Firmar.
Oh well. I need to stitch this poor guy back up. It's really bothering me. Something's not right here. Because even now, the organs are relatively clean. The skin around wounds also, it's like, someone pumped it out? Oh, Christ. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'll leave these questions for the police to solve. And now, I get to head home. It's a fucked up thing. I'll hold off taking long walks in the forest for the near future. I have a feeling that it won't end with just one body.
Otro caso terminado. Vamos a casa.
Good night, Mr. Ridley. The body's ready to be picked up.
Sure. Good night.
I think it's the first time in a long time that I finished work at a decent hour. Oh, come on. Fuck! When did I get a flat tire? What the fuck? Oh, come on. This is impossible. What's this supposed to mean? Why is this happening? Oh, someone is messing with me again. Oh. Fuck. I'm going to Ridley's. Maybe he saw something. Ridley, do you know what happened to my car?
Oh, what happened to your car?
All the tires are fucking flat!
Well, it happens. Don't you have a spare in the trunk?
Spare ones in the trunk. No one carries 4 fucking extra tires in the trunk!
Jesus, Handman, calm down. I'll call you a taxi.
Calm down? That's a bit of an exaggeration, don't you think? Have you seen anyone around here? Someone strange? Suspicious?
Except you? No.
Haha, funny. I don't find all these jokes amusing, you know.
What jokes? Handman, what's wrong with you? It's just tires.
Such things are not a coincidence! What's wrong with me? Things keep happening. Last week, and now this?
Just go wait for the taxi, okay? Fresh air would do you good. Neither you nor I will do anything about it now.
Neither you nor I will do anything? What have you been doing all day? Surely something like this can't just be overlooked.
Maybe you should go outside and cool down. I'm calling a taxi.
Cool down. I just want to sleep. It would be easier just to move in and live here. I doubt I'll get reimbursed for the cab. Huh? Damn. It's already late. Good evening. Any news for me? About my car? You know, the flat tires?
No.
No what? Have you checked the cameras? Anything?
Handman, I cut my teeth working in prison. I know what to do.
What?
There were no strangers hanging around. Maybe you ran over something.
What? All the tires?
Why, possibly. You can congratulate yourself.
Christ.
You should try sleeping more. You've been kinda out of it lately.
That's the first bit of sense you've made all evening.
Good. The body is expected to be ready for pickup tonight, along with your lecture.
What? What did no one...
You still pontificating? Best hurry, don't you think?
Ah, fuck me. I don't have the strength for this today. Have I taken my pills today? Did I take it, or... one more won't hurt.
Este cadáver nos lo traen atado y quemado. Muy bien. Vamos a tomarnos la pastilla en el baño, pero que no me dejo cogerla.
I need to focus. Oh, fuck. I don't have much time. Okay. One by one, Jack. Take it easy. Oh, a burning issue indeed. Then I'll move on to the body. Ah, shit. The lecture. I almost forgot. I'm gonna need the camcorder.
¿Qué? Tengo que ir por la cámara. Si la cámara no está bien. La digital.
This is making me nervous. Archives. Just as lifeless as the corpses they concern. Oh well. This is not the best framing. Hello, everyone. It's the 20... something of November 1991. Jack Hanlon is conducting the autopsy. Oh, I appear to be missing my gloves and apron.
Vale, vamos a vestirnos. Delantal. Guantes.
Yes, you already know the drill. So, the body is on the slab. Let's see what the police uncovered first. So, the victim is from yesterday's apartment block fire on Drowner Street. Personal details unknown.
Vale, cuerpo, cadáver calcinado, es decir, una vivienda incendiada.
The exact cause of the fire has not yet been determined. However, It is known that the fire started in the deceased's apartment, where the most damage was reported. The body was not found until the next morning. The tenant was naked, charred, and with severe burns. The owner of the apartment asked about the deceased. He was surprised anyone even lived there. The deceased was sitting in an armchair near the TV. Pieces of pornographic material, an ashtray, melted video cassettes, and several bottles of so-called poppers were found in the vicinity. It's difficult to assess whether any escape attempts were made. Firefighters indicated that it was probably the large quantity of poppers found near the deceased and rapid spread of the fire. Well, that's our basic question, whether the death occurred as a result of fire or whether he was dead before it. As you can see, the body is in quite an unusual pose. For the purpose of photographic documentation, we'll leave it like that for now.
Cajón del escritorio, pues está aquí, ¿no? O hay otra cosa eso. Ah, otra cosa, vale. Pues vamos a hacerle las fotos pertinentes al cadáver. Vale, que tengo que hacerle una foto general. Vale, perdón.
This position is called the pugilistic attitude. This is due to the influence of high temperature on the muscles. The fire reaches the skin first, then the soft tissue, until the skeletal muscles are exposed. Coagulation occurs in exposed muscles due to their fibers shrinking. The extensors yield to the force of the flexors. The muscles contract and contract until the limbs become flexy and deformed. The upper ones are characterized by a triple bend, similar to a boxer holding his hands in front of him. Just 10 minutes will do it. 10 minutes for the muscles and tendons to contract like a steak on the grill.
Queda una foto, una foto. Se parte el cuerpo, ¿será? Ahí está.
In the end, we're all just walking meat.
Ay. En el tablón. Vamos.
The deceased must now be straightened out, and we need to get rid of these bindings.
En el cadáver, dice tú. Vale.
He looks to have been tied up in a rather unusual. The deceased's neck and feet were mostly, which explains why, despite the severe burns, the deceased's limbs are not all that twisted.
Vale.
That's better.
Autopsy.
It's easier to straighten him now. Without taking out the magnifying glass, we already know that the deceased's skin is heavily charred and cracked.
Muy bien. Empezamos por la autopsia. Vamos a la lupa.
As for the other details, there are crow's feet visible near the eyes. Upper lip reveals front teeth. One of the incisors is broken. There's soot in the nostrils. The rope around the neck wasn't very tight. I don't see it leaving a mark on the skin. You can clearly see that this is primarily the front of the deceased that was exposed to fire. The victim sat in the chair the whole time, hence his back being in much better condition than this extremely burned area. Looks as if a large flap of skin had detached from the calf. The rope at the man's ankles was tied much tighter and more precisely than the one around his wrists. The rope marks around the wrists are deep and clearly visible. All in all, quite a lot can be deduced from this external examination. Traces failed to indicate that the deceased suffocated before the fire took hold. Oh, that must have been terrifying. Severe burns, covering approximately 80% of the epidermis. Predominance of 4th and 3rd degree burns. He appears to be loosely tied. However, this is the result of the corpse drying out. The wound shows that the rope had deeply imprinted itself in the tissue. The burns reach through the dermis and hypodermis to reach the muscles. The body is covered in numerous areas. The length of the rope was calculated, and appears that the deceased could make limited movements around the perineum. The eye clenching is a natural reaction of the body to high temperatures. Soot in the nose appears when inhaling harmful and choking smoke. The tissue of the mouth was heavily burned as well. The teeth, however, makes me wonder. The conclusions are quite clear. It looks like the deceased was a fan of choking while masturbating. Deaths due to a predilection for asphyxophilia do occur, but not in this case. The extent of the thermal stresses on the body could have caused this death. Burns to the genitals and groin are an additional concussive factor. This is due to the high vascularity and innervation of this area. Wounds on the wrists and ankles indicate that the deceased could have been struggling in panic. In this case, I don't assume that this was a delayed death. The mixture of fear, sexual arousal, and drugs could have caused a heart attack. It may seem incidental, but for us it's a sign that the deceased was most certainly conscious. We need to check the damage inhaling all that smoke has done to the respiratory tract. Perhaps the deceased lost a tooth, attempting to bite through the rope. I will assess the extent of possible poisoning and burning in a moment. First, I'll try to establish the victim's identity. Due to the amount of charring, we are unable to collect the victim's fingerprints. Visual identification is also out of the question. You can probably guess what options we are left with. You guessed it, a dental impression. For this, I need impression trays and alkanate material. Please excuse me for a moment. What I need should be somewhere in the lab.
Laboratorio. Muy bien. Por eso por aquí no está. O sea, hay que ir a cogerlo en el laboratorio, que está perdido.
Okay, it's going well. I should be able to get this done in time. Where are these trays? Towels, papers, jars? Nope, it's not anywhere on the counter. Maybe in this drawer. Oh, I'll warm this up in my hands. Okay, making an impression is quite simple. You put trays with alkanate into the mouth and press them to... Once the devices have been placed... apologies. Okay, again, we will need a piece of paper, a brush, and ink. We will make a plaster model of the deceased's teeth from the obtained impression. We will then make an impression of the mold on a piece of paper, which will be scanned into the computer. You see, It seems so simple, and yet laborious. On the plus side, we don't have to worry about the gag reflex with the deceased, and no need to remind the subject to breathe either. At least he saved the high costs of orthodontic treatment. Wow. I would have expected a match so soon. Well, the deceased is Richard Jacobson, 47 years old. He had a criminal record and was recently in court for... Oh, wow. For not returning a videotape to the rental shop. Oh, Jesus. I better check if I've still got that copy of... where were we? Okay, I'll add some details to the clipboard. Okay, and we can move on to dissecting the body. This time, I'll go straight for the loppers.
Interna, selecciona el costotomo para abrir cuerpo. Costotomo. Coño, el costotomo, loco.
I'll slice it piece by piece. Let me start here. I push hard several times. Until I cut a given section. You can see that using a scalpel would be pointless here.
Okay.
Solid crunch. Almost there. Now we peel back the skin.
Ahora abrimos el cuerpo.
Now to remove the ribs.
Cortamos las costillas.
And we can check out what's going on in here. And I see that a lot has happened. In fact, the entire abdominal cavity is flooded. Blood and other fluids have seeped from the blood vessels, flooding the abdomen and chest areas. We have to get rid of this. I'll go get a cup or a ladle.
Hay que aspirar. Chadón. No tiene unos otros. Estos son donuts.
I think I saw one somewhere here. Aha. I don't have all night. I'm going to need a vacuum pump. Right. Running around for everything starts again. Why can't things be tidied away properly in this damn mortuary? I'm gonna get Ridley. I wonder where this pump is. Probably in the basement.
¿En serio que tengo que ir al sótano?
Mr. Ridley? Mr. Ridley? I'll just go to the basement and check.
Oye, he visto a alguien ahí, ¿eh? Joder.
Old, rusty scrap! God! Where is this infernal machine?
Hay que buscar una bomba.
Wow, that's heavy. Can I fit through the door with this? I swear I'm going to have an accident here one day. Like Alice, when she twisted her ankle on those stairs. We were supposed to go to the mountains then. It was supposed to be our first trip since... And Alice...
Hammond!
Because of me, as always, she had to...
Hammond, are you talking to yourself or what?
Huh? What? No, I just...
There is a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
A letter? Fuck! Who delivers letters at this time? It's probably been sat in his office for ages. Just didn't want to move his lazy ass. So, we have the equipment. Now I have to place it somewhere close to the table. Phew. I can finally put this thing down. Alright, just... What? There's no tube? No one's used this for a long time. I apologize to you all once again.
La sala común. Muy bien. Este dice no se queda una carta.
These lockers could contain everything we need, or simply filled with people's crap.
Algo útil en la sala común.
Screw it. There might be something in here. Yep. I'm sure I wrote the code down on a piece of paper.
Un papel. ¿Qué papel? Despacho.
Aha. 3649. Okay.
3649.
3649. 3649. 3749.
¿Tú estás gilipollas o qué, tío?
3794. Aha. 3649. 3649. 3649. 3749. 3794.
3649.
Me and my memory for numbers. Ah, what do we have here? Boxes of disinfectants, syringes, thread. Oh, maybe I should take antiseptics. Any other stuff? Oh, that's interesting. What about here? Every day. Every fucking day. I can't take it anymore. Oh, God. Please. I can't. How do I... Phone. Oh. Do not think. Just don't think.
No cojones.
Office of the Medical Examiner, Beatsville.
Oh, Jack. I was hoping to catch you at work.
Hi, Dorothy. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And what about you? You sound tired.
Tiring day at work. That's it.
You scared me last time we spoke.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to cause any trouble and say what I said.
Jack, it's all right. You're not causing any trouble. I'm not surprised at all that.
No, really. I mean it. Sorry. I just... I'm fed up with myself.
You should take care of yourself. Didn't you say you wanted to stay at home longer? To rest? You know I pick up the slack at work.
No, I didn't. I can't. I don't want to be there.
Well, why not consider taking a trip, Jack?
Dorothy, please. I really don't have the energy for this today.
No, I just wish.
Stop it. Why are you calling?
Reminder about annual drug testing. I figured you probably didn't remember.
Oh, yes. I've, had a lot going on. I, even forgot my own birthday.
Leave your samples at reception on your way home. Someone will pick them up from Ridley in the morning. Probably Steven or someone else at the station.
Sure. I'll try not to forget. Okay, well,
Jack? Try not to do anything stupid, okay? Alcohol, your medication. No, you shouldn't.
I have it all under control. I should be getting back to work.
The results should be in tomorrow. I'll call you when we know.
Right. Thanks.
Goodbye, Jack.
Bye. Annual drug testing. I'll take care of it before I go home. I feel terribly weak. Wake up, Jack. There's been a bit too much going on lately. I was supposed to collect the hose. Focus on your work, Jack. Alright. Here I am. I hope that was the last long break in this session. So, let's connect the tube. We turn on the machine. With this amount of fluid, there's no point in holding back. Still a few nooks and crannies left. External examinations did not reveal any tissue defects that would reach the internal organs. So, I expect the organs to be intact. In a way, it's quite extraordinary. That even with such severe burns, skin, fat, muscles, peritoneal fascia, they can keep the insides intact. The organs are all present and correct. A reddish-pink tint indicates high carboxyhemoglobin levels, the level of which I will determine from a sample of blood. I will be inserting needles into the heart and femoral artery. What interests me here is not the presence of this substance itself, but rather its percentage content in this. But first, I'll need the values for the centrifuge.
Vale. Laboratorio por el cuaderno de los valores.
Ugh. I feel like I've been here forever. Jack, focus. Just a little bit longer. Corpses recovered from the site of fire may have very different and complex histories. Burning is only at the surface. Underneath, it may be a heart attack, stroke, or pulmonary embolism. This particular case appears quite basic.
ver. 15. 15. Vaya, 15. Con la cúpula. 10 minutos. Minutos. Joder, 35 minutos. Cinco. Veinticinco, te voy a llevar 15 minutos. A ver, nivel de cargo, no sé qué. Cargo, ¿dónde está? Cargo si no sé qué, no sé cuánto, 10 minutos. 10 minutos. Unos 10 minutos, colega. Está troleando, ¿ok? 10 minutos. A 85. Vale, 85. 85. 10 minutos.
However, I would warn against making a diagnosis too hastily. A fire victim does not always mean death due to smoke inhalation. The centrifuge has completed its cycle. So, as usual, I will take the samples to the laboratory, and I'll be back with the results shortly.
Laboratorio, laboratorio.
Ugh. What exactly was I supposed to test for? COHB. I'll take 2 milliliters of each sample.
2 miligramos. Perfecto.
Ugh.
4 miligramos. Muy bien.
Well, confirmed. Death due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Carboxyhemoglobin levels at 84%. Alright, I'll note this down and perform a check of the organs. What? Where? Mr. Ridley? Why did he take that fucking body? Why did you take the body?
What body?
Well, the body. You know, from the autopsy room.
Christ, Hammond. I didn't take any of your bodies.
So who took it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I...
Get back to work. It's late.
Something strange is happening here. What? Maybe I think I'm just tired. I think there's... I must have been seeing things. Results. Well, then we can... from the results... We can now be sure that the carboxyhemoglobin concentration the organ has a reddish pink tint, which results from the concentration of COHB and general congestion of the organ. Other than that, I can cross this off my list now.
Causa muerte.
We will look at the lungs more carefully. From the outside, just like the heart, it is congested, and the color indicates poisoning. Thermal damage is visible here and there. Enough of the external exam. It's time to grab the knife and dissect the lungs. I need to check for any obstruction, burns, or clots.
Vale. Vamos a la tabla de corte.
Jesus. All right. You can see changes in the lung parenchyma caused by burns and smoke inhalation. Nothing new here.
Vale.
So let's complete the notes. And let's check the trachea. The color is the same as the rest of the organs. Significant congestion. Let's see what it looks like inside.
Muerte por quemadura térmica, intoxicación por gas. Veremos.
Okay, the final cut. There are visible burns inside, but what catches the eye the most is the amount of soot. Looks like our subject was in the thick of the fire. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. I considered the direct cause of death to be severe carbon monoxide poisoning, leading to extreme hypoxia of the body. The extreme burns on the deceased's body and respiratory tract indicate that he must have been surrounded by fire. During the examination, no other factors were found that could have contributed to the victim's death. Environmental data does not indicate any third-party involvement.
Kevin Break. Al final, ¿qué pasó con la máquina esa?
¿Qué máquina?
Just need to add my John
Kevin
Hancock.
Break.
And sew
La de
up
las
the
pruebas de
body.
sangre que no funcionaba.
Ah, ya funciona ya.
I'll close the body,
Kevin Break.
trying not to damage
Qué
what's
gracioso,
left of the
jajajaja.
skin. As for stitching, well, it varies. It can be that the fire victims are in such a condition that there is nothing left to stitch.
Vale.
So for this job,
Ah,
a thicker needle and heavy-duty thread. Well, everything's holding together. Keeping it together is invaluable in this line of work.
Kevin Break. A mí dame una motosierra para hacer autopsias.
tenemos aquí la sierra. La tenemos.
Well, after storing the body, there's nothing left for me to do. But thank you for your attention. All the best, and good night.
Kevin Break.
God.
Ese se ha
What
quemado
an
tomando el sol.
exhausting day.
Se la encontraron
I need to get these
atado
gloves
y-
off and call a taxi.
Sí,
I
a ver,
swear I'm
¿qué
about to
pasa?
pass out from exhaustion.
Ah, desde la oficina, cojones. Voy a la oficina yo. Pensé que había que pedírselo al loco.
Oh, fuck. You're in sample. Oh, no. Okay, quick. I think I have a container in the lab or office.
¿Quiere este ahora? Un recipiente de muestra de la oficina. No sé.
Aha. 3649. Okay, 36. Aha. 3649. 3649. Aha. 3649. Okay. 3649. 3649. 3749. Aha. 3649. 3649. 3749. 3794.
¿De qué lado de la oficina? Oye. Análisis de orina en un recipiente muestra de la oficina. Pero eso tiene que estar en el laboratorio, ¿no? Hay que estar por aquí. Me piden cada vez cosas más raras que no sé ni dónde las guardo. Me dice despacho de orina.
My old but trusted centrifuge. Ideal for all the fluid tests I need to perform during an autopsy. A considerable collection.
Frigoríficos. Ay, señor. A ver, ¿dónde coño está esto ahora? Oficina.
Did I imagine something?
Pues no sé dónde coño. De la oficina, pero es que en la oficina no hay nada. Una pastilla. Un cepillo. Hace gracia porque dice en la oficina. No te dicen en qué parte de la oficina.
I work with corpses, but I don't have to smell like one.
Poco.
Archives. Just as lifeless as the corpses they concern.
La muñeca ya.
Awful. It would be good to finally repair the coffee machine.
Pues no sé, tío, ¿dónde? Espérate tú. A ver si es lo que creo yo que es. Míralo aquí.
Okay, this is it.
Vamos al baño, echa una medita.
I'm dehydrated. I should drink more water.
La muestra a Riley. Queda al revés, me cago en la puta. Siempre me equivoco, debe ir para atrás o ir para adelante.
As expected, sleeping like a log. I'm jealous.
¿Pero qué? ¿Vamos? Parece que no. Nada, llamar hacia el despacho. Oh my god.
Fuck! What's going on here?
Yo veo hasta cadáveres por el suelo, arrastrándose.
Hurricane Taxi, we will take you wherever the wind takes you.
Hello. I would, like to order a taxi to 574 Presley Street.
Okay, hun. All of our drivers are busy at the moment. Best I can do is within the next hour.
An hour? Oh, no. Alright. Let it be.
Can I take your name?
Let it be.
Jack Hanman.
Okay, thank you. Do you have our loyalty card?
No.
Would you like to set one up? For regular customers, we have discounts and extra...
Would that make the taxi get here faster?
Well...
I thought so. Thank you. Goodbye. This is already giving me a headache. Oh, Jesus, what now? Yes, how can I help you?
Jack, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Oh my God! What was that? What the fuck? Fuck. It's because of the fatigue. This was some kind of mistake. An hour here. I need a drink. strong. Everything's spinning.
Mezcla alcohol con pastillas, madre mía. Ay, Dios. Pues bueno, chicos, lo vamos a ir dejando ya por aquí. Y hay que irse a dormir a descansar. Ya mañana será otro día. ¿Si te repite el aliento qué?
Is this... Fucking shits. They went too far this time. What's that? Oh, fuck.
Va por la ventana volando. ¿Y de dónde ha caído? Ah, una piedra.
Is that blood? Oh God, what's happened? Oh, Mr. Ridley? Oh, fuck. Can't you hear all this commotion?
Otra vez. Cuenta.
Are you deaf?
Sure, whatever you say, Hammond.
Why is that even funny? Do I need to bring you the evidence?
Sure, if you have some. Not me. I think you slept too much myself.
Go and see for yourself. I'm going home. The taxi is probably waiting.
The one that left yesterday?
Yesterday? How so?
It's evening. Friday, November 29th, Hanman.
29th of November.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that this was...
Don't worry. I did too. Somehow. I just... Oh my God.
Should I call Dorothy? I've set up the cadaver ready for the autopsy, and she should be able to replace you.
No, there's no need. I'd be happier staying here than sitting at home, alone.
Just in case, this is... let me know.
Sure. Thanks.
Handman. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I
guess I should take my pills. I should go to the cemetery later. Buy flowers, not today. To forget the most important of things. Cases like these can be extremely disturbing.
Ahora no hay ninguna piedra ni ninguna ventana rota. Fantástico. Este está flipado. Oh. Vale, pues bueno. Pues lo vamos a ir dejando por aquí, chicos. Como siempre, un placer. Gracias por la compañía y nos vemos mañana en un próximo directo, si es que me acuerdo. Adiós.